Becoming an expert in anything faster than you ever thought possible might sound like a dream. But what if I told you it is within your reach? Imagine being able to dive into any subject or skill and come out the other side with a mastery level way beyond what most people achieve in years. Not just casual knowledge, but real expertise that sets you apart. Today, I'm going to reveal a foolproof, ruthlessly efficient method to do exactly that. Based on the Ultralearning system developed by Scott Young, the man who mastered MIT's intense computer science curriculum all by himself in just 1 year. This method has the power to transform you from a beginner to a confident expert far quicker than you ever thought possible. So buckle up, because this is how you learn everything faster, smarter, and better. First, think about what it really means to learn something new. It is not just about investing hours or going through the motions. It is about being smart with your time and energy. Everyone spends time learning. Everyone becomes great at learning. The difference is in the how, not just the how long. Scott Young's approach breaks it down into a system that anyone can use to become not just better, but exceptional. Step 1 in this process is what Scott calls pre-learning. Key. Imagine you are about to embark on a long journey, like hiking across a continent. Key. Would you just set off without a plan, without knowing your route or what supplies you need? Probably not. You would spend some time researching the best paths, figuring out supplies, and planning your stops. Learning anything new is exactly the same. Pre-learning is that critical phase where you map out the terrain of what you want to learn. You find out what the essential topics are, figure out the order to tackle them in, and decide how you are going to approach each step. For example, if you want to learn a new language, your research might show that conversational skills are way more important than memorizing grammar rules on day 1. If you want to dive into programming, you might realize that understanding problem solving with code beats just reading about programming concepts. During this phase, you are not diving into deep study. You are gathering intel on the smartest ways to approach your learning journey. But be careful not to get stuck here. Pre-learning should be time limited. Scott Young suggests devoting no more than 10% of your total projected learning time to it. Spending too long planning can be sneaky procrastination dressed up as preparation. So set a deadline for yourself and stick to it. Once you've got your roadmap, it is time to hit the trail. The next phase is where the real work happens, the learning itself. And this is where most people struggle, not because they aren't willing, but because they don't have the right strategy. Scott outlines 3 key pillars for this step. And these are absolutely critical if you want to learn fast and efficiently. Focus, directness, and drilling. Focus. This sounds obvious, but it is astonishing how often people try to study or practice with distractions all around them. Maybe you've sat down to learn something new, only to find your phone lighting up with notifications. The TV is on in the background, or your mind is racing with unrelated worries. Focus is about cutting through all that noise to lock your attention onto the task with ruthless intensity. It means disconnecting from the outside world and tuning out any internal chatter that tries to steal your attention. Scott also encourages training your focus like a muscle through meditation, consistent practice, and reflection. It is not just about sitting still. It is about sharpening your ability to zero in no matter what's going on around you. Now, focus alone won't make you an expert. You need directedness, which means learning in the way you plan to use your new skill. Learning something in a vacuum is ineffective because you often miss the real-world context that makes knowledge truly useful. For instance, if you are studying history to ace an essay exam, simply memorizing dates won't prepare you well enough. Writing essays will. If your goal is to speak a language fluently, memorizing vocab lists won't cut it. You have to actually practice speaking in real conversations. Directed learning means practicing the skills in the exact context or situation where you plan to apply them. This helps your brain form the most useful connections and increases how quickly you can transfer what you learn into action. And then there's drilling, targeting your weaknesses with purposeful practice. We all have blind spots that hold us back. Maybe in a language, it is your pronunciation that trips you up, or in coding, it is a particular concept like functions or algorithms. Okay. Drilling means actively identifying those weak links and spending focused time improving them until they no longer limit your progress. It is like tightening the bolts on a machine to make it run smoothly. If one part is loose, the whole thing suffers. Drilling often feels repetitive, but it is critical because it breaks down your bottlenecks and helps you level up faster. The key is going back and forth between drilling and direct practice to constantly improve and then apply that improvement. When you combine focus, directness, and drilling, you are supercharging your learning speed. But Scott doesn't stop there. The ultimate goal of Ultralearning is to reach what he calls true expertise. Expert, E-N-T. Just about having facts memorized or managing to solve problems on demand is about intuition. Think about the people you admire in any field: musicians, mathematicians, artists, experts in their domains. What sets them apart isn't just knowledge, it is the instinctive way they navigate their craft. They don't need to consciously think through every step. The deep understanding allows them to innovate, to see patterns others miss, and to create original work. That intuition is the result of deliberate, focused learning over time. It is the distillation of countless hours spent learning, practicing, failing, and refining. And while it takes hard work, using Scott Young's system gives you the best shot at getting there faster than anyone else. Some might think, can I really become an expert quickly with this? The truth is, you won't become a Nobel Prize winner or a world champion overnight. But the promise here is much more accessible. You can become smarter, faster, and more capable than almost everyone else who tries to learn the same things. That can open doors in your career, change how you solve problems, or simply boost your confidence and satisfaction. Let's break down what this journey might feel like practically. At first, ULL spent a bit of time planning exactly what skills or knowledge chunks matter most for your goals. Say, you want to learn graphic design. Your pre-learning research will show the core tools you need to master, like Photoshop, and the design principles that you should focus on. ULL also map out how much time you want to spend and set small deadlines for milestones. Then, when you start learning, you eliminate distractions: phone on airplane mode, a quiet space, maybe some noise-canceling headphones. You focus intensely on practicing the skills as close to real-world use as you can get, designing actual projects rather than just following tutorials. When you stumble on a weakness, maybe color theory or typography, you drill that specifically, practicing only that until it feels stronger. Then get back to making your designs. After weeks and months, your ability grows. You start to feel colors and layouts intuitively. You no longer have to think step by step about every decision. It comes naturally. That's expertise. It is built on the foundation of smart, focused, direct, and drilled practice. Here are some tips to keep your Ultralearning project on track. Set clear, measurable goals so you know exactly what you want to achieve. Avoid vague goals like learn coding and aim for build a functional website with JavaScript. Break your learning into smaller chunks and tackle them one at a time. This reduces overwhelm and keeps you motivated with regular wins. Track your progress and reflect regularly. Ask yourself what's working and what needs adjusting. Embrace failure and mistakes as part of the process. Each stumble is a clue about what needs drilling. Build habits around your learning. Consistency beats intensity over the long run. To wrap up, the Ultralearning method isn't magic. It is a structured, disciplined, and highly effective way to get better at anything in less time. By planning your approach, focusing with intent, practicing exactly what you need, and drilling your weak spots, you'll accelerate your learning curve and build true expertise sooner than you ever expected. So ask yourself, what skill have you always wanted to master? What knowledge would change your life if you mastered it quickly? Start your ultra-learning journey today. Plan smart, focus fiercely, work directly, and drill relentlessly. Your future expert self will thank you. Don't forget to hit subscribe for more tips on mastering skills, learning faster, and unlocking your full potential. Keep pushing, keep learning, and watch yourself transform into the expert you are meant to be.